Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video, and today we have a roster update from Madden 24. Of course, this is long and awaited. Hopefully this is going up on the night of the 12th. I haven't had a whole ton of time to record. I've been mainly focusing on the roster and stuff like that. But let's get things underway. Now, first and foremost, this is a PS5 exclusive roster. I do not have a roster for both Xbox or PC. As the roster already takes enough time as is, I don't think I'd be able to really manage a roster quite as good as what I normally do. So that is why I normally don't focus on other platforms, as well as the fact I don't have an Xbox. I do have a PC with Madden on it, but I figure most of the modding community probably does a pretty good job at getting rosters done in that aspect. And if you have Madden on your PC, you're more than likely going to mod it. I would assume, at least. I know I've had difficulty getting mods to work on Madden so far for me. But let's get a couple things done and finished out of the way before we hop into the roster and I show it off. First and foremost, there are a couple things that I cannot change upon the roster. It's just stuff that cannot happen that EA and Madden do not allow me to do, right? I can't change dev traits, I can't change age, and I can't change contract money. So that does make it kind of difficult when making these rosters for a multitude of reasons, right? Players that I think dev traits should be taken away from, I can't. Players that I think dev traits should be given to, I can't. I'm not going to be fucking with EA's overalls either. That's just something I'm not going to do, because I know nobody can particularly agree on how to rank players, and especially at the wide receiver position. It's mainly based off of what you value, as well as corner. You know, the big debate is, do you want to shut down corner, or do you want a corner that creates turnovers? You know, the Trevon Diggs versus, you know, a Stephon Gilmore type of player. You know, all these different things. So I'm not going to be touching overalls. The only overalls that I'm going to be touching and making on my own is going to be the drafted players. But that's still, you know, a month and a half away at this point. So we're not going to worry about the draft and all that fun stuff just quite yet. Secondly, like I said, I can't change age, and I can't, you know, sim into a year of the contract. So if somebody has 3 years left, but I want them to keep their money kind of realistic, I can't go ahead and release that guy. And here is the thing that a lot of people don't understand, especially when making the roster in the Creation Center, is money's determined based off of overalls, and years are based off of overalls. So 1 year deals go from 0 overall all the way up to 59 overall. And then 2 years go from 60 all the way up to 74. And then 75 plus is 3 years. And depending on your overall in those ranges will determine how much money that player is given when you sign them to a different team. So a lot of the contract years are correct for the most part. Anybody that signs, of course, a 4 year plus, I can't quite get done. So those are some things that you are going to have to fix inside your franchise if you want the numbers to be correct, and if you want cap hits to be correct as well. Another thing I cannot do is I can't release some players, okay? That's one thing that I can't do. Based off positional requirements and stuff like that, I can't have a team that only has 36 guys on it, because they're in real life they only have 36 guys as of right now, you know. Some teams I do have to put filler players on. Those are the guys that are going to be underneath those 60 overall. Some of those 50 overall players are actually on the team, to be fair as well. But at some positions I do have to sign people to get their free agents off. Now, not every free agent is in free agency. If for some reason there's a positional requirement at that position and I cannot release him, and if I think he could possibly re-sign with the team, I might leave him on there. That is one thing. Go ahead if you want to. You can send me a message on PlayStation. You can send me a message in the YouTube. Hell, you can even hit up my Twitter. And if you say, hey, this dude's not supposed to be on the roster right now, is there any reason why he's, you know, on this team? I can give you a reason normally. Or maybe it's because I overlooked him, or maybe it's because I signed him to the wrong team. Right? I'm using multiple different sources, and sometimes sources do get who they're signing to wrong. I know, like last night, two out of the 3 sources that I saw said Yatir Gross-Matos was re-signing with the Panthers, and then like an hour later it comes out that it's actually the 49ers. He's signing with the 49ers. There was no intention of ever signing with the Panthers. Right? There's been multiple things like that. Joe Mixon was supposed to be getting released after the signing of Zach Moss, and then that went backwards, and they decided to give him basically to the Texans. Well, I don't remember exactly what it's going on. I don't know if it's trade or if Joe Mixon is signing there or something. I don't know exactly what's going on there with that situation. But all I know is when I got off work last night and I was checking to see, who got moved and stuff like that, I did see that Joe Mixon was dealt or is somehow in a way going to the Texans. Okay? And like I said, if I miss a player, go ahead and let me know down below. Try not to be a dick about it. Don't be like, oh, you fucking dumbass, you missed this. Not helpful, right? Now let's get into how to get the roster, how to edit it, and how to look at it, and stuff like that. So first and foremost, you guys are going to head over to Share and Manage Files. Go over here. You guys are going to have to go down to the Download Community Files section. This will take a second to load. Even when you have good internet, it takes a second to load. You can always sort by, of course, the date added. My roster is going to be up there normally for the most part. It will take a second to probably look for it. As of right now, it's been updated 3 times today. I don't think I'm going to update it for the rest of the day. I think the next update you will see from me will probably be tomorrow. Granted, it is, 8 p.m. So there's probably not going to be a whole ton of more moves going on tonight, but that is something you can look at. Roster, I am one of the higher rated rosters, at least the realistic rosters. I'm not counting, of course, the college ones and the Hall of Fame ones. Those guys do a ton of work. I'm not dissing their rosters. I'm just saying in terms of realistic, up-to-date rosters, I am up there in some of the better ones, of course. And here's the thing with mine. You're going to get the rookies. When the draft happens, you're going to get all the free agency updated, all that fun stuff. When you click to download it, you're probably going to have to save it as a new file or overwrite the old one. Overwriting it will just basically wipe away the old file and keep that name if you want to do that. If you want to save it as a new file, that's up to you. Saving it as a new file will just require you to put a different name in. Overwriting it will just get rid of the old copy of that roster. And I don't see why you would want to hold on to the old roster. There's nothing too special about it. And then, of course, one thing you do have to do, and I want to stress this pretty badly, is you have to load the roster. You have to go to the load and delete section and click X on your controller to load the roster. Once it says file loaded successfully, you can back out and head to the edit roster section. You can go to play now, or you can go to franchise. And yes, of course, because I always get these questions later in the roster's life cycle. Do I have to start a new franchise? Yes. You cannot import a new file into a franchise and restart from where you're at. I don't even know how that would work. But yes, you have to restart a franchise. So you have to begin in the 2023 season. And I'll go over that in just a second as well. So then you can go to edit rosters. You can go to manage players, and you can see Kevin Byard is now on the Chicago Bears. DeAndre Swift is now on the Chicago Bears. Gerald Everett is another one. I think I have his overall correct. I'm going to have to go back and look. I did have to mess with him a little bit to get him moved correctly. Both Jonathan Owens and Ryan Bates are here as well. So two of the other 2 of the 5 free agents now that the Bears have picked up. Of course, you can go to sign free agents, and you can see a bunch of people. Justin Simmons, Tre'Davious White, David Bakhtiari, Daniil Hunter, Bobby Wagner, Stephon Gilmore, Trent Brown, Jordan Poyer, Hyde, Howard, Young, Clowney, Ridley, Adams, Nelson, Campbell, Diggs, Armstead, Curl, Williams, Jackson, Kendricks, Baker, Peterson, Jackson, Peters, White, Samuel, Van Noy, and Leno. Just some of the 80s to round it off. Even if they're technically supposed to be listed as a post-June 1st cut, or even a new, whenever the new NFL season officially kicks in, I'd assume that's when the legal tampering period is over, so I'd assume tomorrow, whenever that new deadline does kick in. These guys have already been released, right? They've already been told, hey, you can go sign a new contract, you can go to a different team at this point in time. If there's anybody, and I mean anybody, that has retired, go ahead and let me know. I do have a lot of the guys retired. They are at kicker. I don't change their overalls. Like I said, I'm not changing overalls just in case for some weird fact that some of these guys come back. There are a couple guys that I'm not 100% sure about. Leighton Vander Esch has basically been, people are saying he should retire, and it's not just about the hit he took, but it's been professional, like medical people have professionally said, like, no, he should retire at this point, just based off the injury he had. Fletcher Cox should be confirmed. Slater, I think, is confirmed. Kelsey is confirmed. Lindsley has like blood clots or something in his heart that's affecting his play. And I think it has basically been confirmed that he will be retiring, or he should at least. Derek Watts is another. And then one last player that should be retired is Ryan Jensen. I know there's been a lot of speculation about whether or not he should retire. So for now, he's going to be listed at kicker. If for some reason any of these guys aren't supposed to be retired, let me know. I'll go ahead and try to fix them and all that fun stuff. And like I said, a lot of the players have been moved. And like I said, a lot of the players, I try to get their years correct because the money is less correct. So like Kevin Byard is only getting, almost just a little less than $5 million to go play for the Bears for 2 years. So that is something like if I were to hop in and do a Chicago Bears franchise, I'd have to go in and change the money. The years are correct. The money is not. DeAndre Swift, same thing. And one thing I do want to say is jersey numbers are subjective. I try to give a lot of the players their correct jersey numbers. Now, of course, if they go onto a new team and somebody already has that jersey number, I don't want to necessarily take it away from somebody unless they're probably not going to be that big of a factor. Like Kevin Byard came into the Bears, and I think it was Josh Blackwell, or was it Jalen Jones was wearing 31. Jalen Jones, as much as I've liked him so far in his young career on the Bears, I think Byard, if he does want his number 31, will buy it off Jalen Jones, and Jalen Jones will probably happily oblige. There's multiple players like that, and then other players like probably Kirk Cousins, who is on the Falcons now. I didn't give him number 8 because Kyle Pitts is a superstar player, or at least a star player. So I didn't give him number 8. Kirk Cousins will have to find a new number, whether it's number 4 or number 2 or number 1 or whatever. He will probably have to find a new number on the Atlanta Falcons. And I don't think there's always been this report, he still drives he still has his old van that he had, when he was drafted by Washington. So the fact that he doesn't spend money on a lot of stuff, I don't think he's going to buy a jersey number, so he is going to stay at a different number. Drew Lock here, Mac Jones, Tyrod Taylor. There's a couple other quarterbacks. A team like the Panthers, I will say, I did have to add a backup. I figured Andy Dalton should probably be released, so I did put Jake Luton on the Panthers, Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew. And of course, once jersey numbers are confirmed by players and organizations, I will go ahead and try to change a lot of the jersey numbers. But for my best guess, I'm just going based off of what they either previously wore or what looked pretty decent on them at the time, of course. And I do try to change jersey numbers as I am releasing more players or players are getting moved on from in that sort of regard. And there are a couple teams, I'm going to show you guys here on the Rams especially, that went out and signed a new guard in Jonah Jackson. And then they still have Kevin Dotson and Steve Avila. But then their left tackle situation is kind of bad, as well as their center situation isn't particularly great. So I do have to move positions for players, but sometimes like this, where I don't know who would exactly move where, I'm going to just leave it alone, right? But then somewhere like the Patriots, who picked up Chumoka Okafor and Micah Wenu, Okafor is going to move back to left tackle. I think he played left tackle a lot on the Steelers, if I remember correctly. If not, I'll move him back. It's not that big of a deal. We can move, somebody else over and stuff. It's not that big of a deal, right? So there are people that are moving positions. I will say that much. Jabril Peppers, I pushed over to free safety. I just think it makes more sense. I know Duggars technically has a tag on him. I'm going to leave him there for now. Like I said, some players are going to remain on teams just until I know whether or not they will be signing with a different team for now, as well as I'm not making the filler players like I did last year, because then I'm going to have to completely restart the roster and stuff like that. And of course, like I said, some players can't be released because of positional requirements and stuff, so some players will have to remain on the team. One big one that I updated right before I ended up saving the roster and uploading one last time for the night is Deontay Johnson for Dante Jackson. The Steelers and the Panthers made a trade. Steelers get hopefully a corner, at least 2 or 3 on their team in Dante Jackson, and the Panthers get hopefully a number 2 receiver and a fresh new start. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with the roster. Of course, like I said, if anybody's overalls are incorrect, based off of what Madden has them, we're not going based off of what everybody else thinks. Based off of what Madden has them as, I will go ahead and change them back to their Madden rating. Joe Mixon here on the Texans. I didn't really know what number I should give him, so I just gave him 22. There's a ton of stuff going on, and like I said, I do have to move positions. Like I said, I wanted to release George Fant, so I pushed Keon Green all the way out to tackle. He just made the most sense. He was one of the bigger guys. I think Titus Howard will stay at left guard. There's some stuff that I do have to do in those situations to get him moved over. Lloyd Cushenberry's here on the Titans. you know, there's still a lot of work to be done, not in terms of, you know, stuff I'm missing, whether it's, you know, the transactions that have happened today, yesterday, or even tomorrow. I'm just saying there's still a lot of work to be done with the offseason still in full force, as well as, you know, the draft coming up as well. I think it's a pretty good roster. Tony Pollard here on the Titans, Aaron Jones here on the Vikings. The Vikings added a bunch of different players. Sam Darnold as well. They ended up bringing back Brandon Powell. They ended up going out and re-signing Blake Brandel, David Quessenberry. I know Dean Lowry's technically not supposed to be here, but for now we're just going to leave him on the team until they do find another defensive tackle. Andrew Van Ginkel, Blake Cashman, Jonathan Gennard, and others all being signed. Like I said, it's a very good roster. I'm going to personally be playing with it. I don't know when I'm going to be starting a new franchise in terms of, you know, one that I'm not playing on the YouTube channel, but I will be starting a new franchise probably somewhat soon. I don't know if I'll even, maybe I won't. I think I might wait for the draft, but for you guys, this roster is done for the most part. You know, of course, up to date for the 12th. Of course, I'm going to hopefully have more roster updates coming out shortly, whether it's, you know, ones in a week or a day or whatever. I'm going to be pushing out more and more roster updates. Of course, I'm trying to get it as up to date as possible. Like I said, if anybody is in the correct position, not incorrect position, incorrect roster, you know, hey, this guy got signed here. Hey, this guy got signed here. I might lose track of some people if somebody's at a different position because I had to change, you know, their overall to get them to sign for the correct amount of years. Go ahead and let me know. I know I found Darby. I know I found one of the guys at punter. I should probably actually go back through and make sure that nobody is at punter, kicker, or quarterback right now because of overall changes. Yeah, it still looks pretty good. So the roster is basically caught up, in my opinion. Like I said before, it's not the perfect roster, right? Madden limits me on what I can and can't do. But I think it's a very good roster. You're going to have fun with it. You're going to be able to play. Yes, the depth charts are kind of fucking weird right now because I do just auto reorder them. I'm going to wait until after the draft to probably go in and personally order them. And even then, I don't know how much I'm going to be doing. It's going to be more about you and what you want to do. Like I know with the Bears right now, they have TJ Edwards listed as an edge because fucking Dominique Robinson is ass cheeks, right? So there's still some stuff to work on. Of course, I got most of my stuff done on my end. Just waiting for more people to sign, get traded, released, all that fun stuff. Like I said, all free agents are not in free agency. I try to do my best with both future reserve contracts to help mitigate some of that stuff. And hopefully I could release as many players as possible. I know one guy's already, you know, messaged me saying, hey, the Dolphins really, you know, Howard's gone. Xavier Howard's gone. Stephon Gilmore's not supposed to be on the Cowboys. I got those done. Thank you for those. I appreciate those messages. You know, because if I overlook somebody and if he's not supposed to be on the roster, I appreciate those messages. I really do. Just don't be a dick about it. That's all I'm saying. Hopefully you guys enjoy this roster. I'm going to have a ton of information regarding the draft, probably a week or two before the draft for the roster. And you can make your decision on whether or not you're going to download that version as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this roster. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into it. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it. If you guys have any, you know, and once you download it, if it's just something simple as fixing a jersey number that you care about more, or you think this dude should be wearing this jersey number, you can go ahead and go in and fix it yourself. You don't absolutely have to tell me. I would appreciate it if you go, hey, this dude's jersey number got confirmed. And like I said, some of the jersey numbers, like Sam Darnold, I did steal from somebody. Sam Darnold, I did steal it from his Vikings teammate, Ryan Wright. I figure Ryan Wright's a punter. He's not making a whole ton of money. Sam Darnold's getting paid $10 million this year. If 14's some type of sentimental attachment to Sam Darnold, he's going to want that jersey number. He's probably going to pay for it because, you know, it's going to be $30K out of his pocket versus Ryan Wright, who's only making $1 million or some shit like that. That money's going to mean a lot more to him than a number because he's a punter, right? He's not making as much money as Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's making a lot of money. So there are some cases like that, and like I said, some cases where it's like a Kevin Byard and Jalen Jones situation where, of course, Kevin Byard's making more money. Kevin Byard's going to be a starter. Jalen Jones is a potential cut candidate. You know, there's a lot of different things that can go into those factors as well. I'm not just doing jersey numbers based off of, you know, whether or not I think the dude's going to buy it. I'm doing jersey numbers changes based off of whether or not the dude's a cut candidate, whether or not the dude's a starter, whether or not it's an important position, you know, all these different factors. There's a lot of more information that I want to cover about the roster, you know, but I'm kind of drawing a blank right now on some of the other information. I think I got most of the important information and most of the information that you guys are going to care about. I know a lot of the people that just want the roster have probably already checked out by now. They're probably checked out within the first 10 minutes, maybe even the first 5. But I know a lot of the people that care about the roster want to know why certain things are being done the way they are going to stick through the video and enjoy this video, and then hopefully support the YouTube channel. I do appreciate your guys' support on both the videos and on the rosters. They have been going insane lately, so thank you for that. But with that being said, guys, I'm out. Peace.